talk about a game where I'm pretty sure there will be goals at the Etihad. It's Manchester City versus Brighton. Brighton have had 37 goals in their games this season, Paul Robinson. Not necessarily all for them.
No, I mean, that's a strange thing about Brighton. We've waxed lyrical quite often about Brighton and the play and the way that the club's run and everything else. But this season, they have looked susceptible at the back at times. You know, going forward, they've been very good. Their possession, their style of play, and what they do. They're an attractive club and a good team to watch. But defensively, they have had problems this year. They've had to cope with European football as well, which I think has been a big thing for them. Their squad's not overly huge. They've had a couple of injuries in there. A couple of their experienced players have got injured. And at the moment, they haven't hit the heights of what they did at this stage last year, if you like. They've still got the European competition to cope with. But listen, Manchester City, Brighton, we're going to be watching two very, very good footballing teams. And if you're a football purist, there's a lot of people that would sit there and say there's two teams that play the game the right way this weekend.
It's very simple to say that City without Rodri, Neil, means that they're vastly weakened. Yeah, he's a brilliant footballer, probably one of the best in his position in the world. But as a side, City have to do better when they're missing one player.
Don't forget they've missed De Bruyne as well. I think he's been a big miss for them. I think Rodri gives them that stability. He's sort of the quarterback where everything starts with. You know, if you stop Rodri getting on the ball, you stop a lot of City's attacks. But they've missed him, they've missed De Bruyne, and they've been surprisingly out of form. So City are the 6th highest scorers in the Premier League. Brighton are the top scorers. You would fancy City all day long to have been the top scorers. So this will be an entertaining game. I think both will have chances. But I think Rodri back will be a big boost for City. Ferguson as well, turned 19 between international duty and this game. He's gone 9 away games without scoring, so I do like him. I think he's a proper centre-forward for Brighton. That price is really attractive for the draw. I think Brighton are a really good side and are capable of getting a point. I don't have them down to win the game, but they could nick a draw. I think City will win the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brighton were to get a draw in this one.
Yeah, you'd think, Paul, that both teams' score is pretty much... Is it nailed on in this? I mean, City's defence is not exactly watertight, and Brighton will go at them with that front line. I think Adingra has been a great addition. You've got Mitoma on the left-hand side, and Ferguson as well. He's not scored since that hat-trick against Newcastle, but he's a real threat, a proper number 9, as Neil says. Yeah,
like we spoke about Liverpool, about players being away on international duty and all over the world. Manchester City will obviously have the same problem. Brighton have lost players on international duty, but City will have the same. Whether the players are coming back with a fully fit bill of health, if you like, will yet to be seen. But City are in a little bit of a rut for them, if you like, at the moment. Yes, they won away at Leipzig, lost at Arsenal, lost at Wolves, lost at Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, which is unlike them. So they need a bounce back. They need a result at the weekend. Defensively, yes, they are susceptible. They can concede goals, but again, as we said to before, the value that City were at Arsenal, I mean, it didn't pay off, but I thought they were excellent value. And there's a little bit of value in them there at home, which you won't get very often this season. You back City, you back over 2.5 goals, you back a goal scorer. You can build a bet around Manchester City at home that will actually give you some value this weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, Erling Haaland's really suffering. He's only got 8 in 8, but he's not really looking like his old self, even though he has scored 8 in 8, Neil.
Well, there's your bet. Back Manchester City at home, over 2.5 goals and Haaland to score. I bet those odds will probably be the highest that they'll be all season for City at home.
I'll do that. You tell me how rubbish Haaland is, Neil. Go on.
I think he's missed De Bruyne. I do believe that. You mentioned about 8 in 8. He probably would have had more than 10 if De Bruyne had been playing. So the fact that he still scored the goals and yet his main provider hasn't been there shows that he's still a big goal threat. He'll be the top scorer this season, of course he will, but he'll get chances against Brighton. That's one thing. Brighton will give chances. They've scored and conceded in every Premier League game so far this season, and I think that will continue.
Okay, 2.05. You get odds against for City to win over 2.5 goals and Erling Haaland to grab a goal in City versus Brighton. Definitely the one to watch at 3 o'clock.